For good reason, Mass Effect has become one of the most beloved gaming franchises of all time. With the release of the Legendary Edition back in 2021, fans of the Galaxy epic will be able to rediscover everything that first drew them to BioWare's distinctive world. However, between the Legendary Edition and even Mass Effect Andromeda, which was released back in 2017, there are several unexplained enigmas that BioWare has yet to answer, and they seem to be terrifying. So here are 5 creepy secrets you may have missed in the Mass Effect franchise. The Keeper's origin. The Keepers appear in all 3 games of the original trilogy. However, even the inhabitants of the Citadel are unsure of what they truly are. Vigil, the Prothean VI you find in Mass Effect 1, throws additional light onto them, implying that they serve the Reapers. Thus, we don't have much to rely on other than what the Vigil says.
A more likely scenario is that the Keepers were one of the early harvested civilizations, perhaps the very first. Perhaps they responded well to indoctrination, or the Reapers simply bred them to be obedient. In any case, they were left behind to operate and maintain the Citadel.
And whatever their beginnings, the Keeper's principal goal now is to make the Citadel appealing so that the sentient organic life may settle there. However, the precise circumstances of their beginnings, as well as the species they may have been before, remain unknown. Some fans suspect that according to the Leviathan DLC, the Leviathans exploited a terrestrial species on their homeworld to evolve into a spacefaring species by co-evolving with them and converting them into their first thralls. According to the DLC, this species was emphasized as the Keepers, or at the very least, the Keepers were an early enthralled species. It doesn't really have important in terms of details because it hasn't been confirmed conclusively, but fans will point out that the DLC expressly says this in dialogue and even in text. But speaking of the Leviathans, another creepy moment in Mass Effect was the Leviathan's indoctrination, also known as enthrallment. According to the Leviathan DLC, by sending faster-than-light pulses to their countless biological opalescent artifacts, or orbs, the Leviathans were able to exercise influence over many organic species when we saw the DLC. Many fans believe that the entire DLC was really disturbing. To be honest, the Leviathan's enslavement is far eerier than that of any other races manipulating others, such as Rachni and even the Reapers. The miners' sluggish gazes and languid answers in Mojave Mine gave off an unsettling feeling for a lot of players as well.
Yes, welcome to TGS Mineral Works. How can we help you?
Yes, for the tour. Please sign in.
Despite Reaper indoctrination, this approach causes no long-term mental harm aside from the entranced person having no recollection of the incident. For example, the miners on Mojave were enthralled for 10 years and had no idea any time had gone past since their enthrallment started. Not to mention the visions and trance Shepard is subjected to. I would give anything not to go through that all over again, but sadly I enjoy the story and even the lore implications provided by this DLC, so occasionally suffering through these sorts of situations was necessary. What makes this even creepier is that some fans believe it is possible that despite the Leviathan's very limited numbers, they hold an astounding level of power over the Reapers. This had led some fans to theorize that the Leviathans may regain the upper hand after the war and dominate the galaxy. This could be true, but it's really up to the BioWare writers to decide at this point. Ploba and Logan. Mass Effect players will most certainly spend a significant amount of time searching the galaxy for mysteries and even resources. When doing so, you can stumble across Ploba, a gas giant whose description is pretty creepy and nightmare fuelish. Scans uncover gigantic, unexplained superstructures within Ploba's atmosphere. It quotes, "Some believe Ploba is a Jupiter brain, a planet-sized supercomputer." Adherents of this theory have fruitlessly beamed signals toward the sunken megastructures, hoping to get the machine's attention. Others believe that an ancient spacefaring race disposed of their weapons of war by dumping them into the planet. The last attempt to reach and salvage Ploba's deep anomalies went tragically wrong and ended with a crew of 12 being trapped and crushed in the gas giant's lower atmosphere. This has led to speculation that Ploba is a massive supercomputer or even an old example of Reaper technology hidden in plain sight with the goal of indoctrinating adjacent species. However, neither of these possibilities have been confirmed or even refuted. And Logan, like Ploba, is another gas giant whose existence may never be found until players scour the cosmos for secrets. Logan, like its bigger relative, has had a disturbing description that hints at its actual nature. Logan is a standard hydrogen-helium gas giant. The survey team, who charted the system 20 years ago, reported that many strange disturbances in Logan's cloud bands, suggesting many remarkably large solid objects were present beneath the cloud's tops. As the ship approached, however, they subsided one by one. These disturbances have not been reported again. Of course, there are many planets that give off a mysterious and eerie vibe as well, such as Rothla, Juthama, and Praying Mouth, a planet that represents a story similar to what we see as the Bermuda Triangle. But Logan and Ploba are creepier than many of the planets we have discovered, and they have a dark secret that many Mass Effect fans might want to go see in a future playthrough if so. Han Olar's email. Han Olar is a Vola scientist at Peak 15's Rift Station on Noveria from Mass Effect 1. He sends a sad but chilling email to you in Mass Effect 2. To start, the Noveria quest prominently involved Benezia and the Rachni Queen. The Rachni's goals, to say the least, are pretty unsettling with how they work in general, with controlling deceased beings in order to communicate to us is just really creepy. However, Han Olar's message from Mass Effect 2 leaves us unsettling remarks about the events that transpired with Olar's sanity from Noveria. They think they can fix me, but maybe you're not really back. Maybe I died. Maybe I didn't close that door in time. Maybe I held it open to give her a chance, and the Rachni ripped my suit open and I died of exposure there on Peak 15. Maybe I'm a martyr, and this is an ugly hallucination before a glorious afterlife. But if not, then thank you. Han Olar. What makes this more disturbing than most is the fact that Han Olar's sanity is being chipped away by either the pain they experienced from Noveria or the lack of the unknown contained inside this email. It may offer some a bittersweet sense, while others may be confused by this message, which lets us comprehend his paralyzing dread of the Rachni and even the quantity of fear Han Olar was subjected to within that base. It's a frightening concept, but since few fans view this email or either skim through the messages, this is added to the list of creepy secrets for many fans who opt to read Han Olar's message to Shepard in Mass Effect 2. Unknown aliens. The oldest and strongest emotion of mankind is fear, and the oldest and strongest kind of fear is fear of the unknown. Quoted by H.P. Lovecraft, the unknown is terrifying, especially compared to intergalactic species capable of far worse than what we have seen. And in the Mass Effect lore, it's quite vast. The codex entries offered in each game, not to mention the books, comic books, and much more, presents us with information we had no idea we needed. For instance, we can learn more about a few races that exist in Mass Effect lore but have never been seen by fans. Some fell extinct, others may only be referenced in side material, while yet others were written out of the game due to time constraints. Because there are so many unknown aliens that would require their own video, here are some noteworthy aliens in the Mass Effect universe who gave off a terrifying aura. The Kirik, biotic bugs. According to the Cerberus Daily News on December 7, 2010, the Kirik are biotic-capable beetle-like insectoids native of Ekrem's desert world. The discovery of the Kirik was first deemed fascinating since they were their first known insects capable of controlling biotics. The Citadel Council dispatched delegates on December 2185 to assess the Kirik's intellect and compare it to normal galactic sapiens tests. They aren't so much as creepy, but it also doesn't help that they look like cockroaches by their descriptions. Densoran, the child sacrificers. During the Prothean cycle, the Densoran were a sapient species that existed around 47,814 BC. They were eventually engulfed by the actual Prothean race and compelled to name themselves Protheans as well. Fearing for their own lives, the Densoran sought to appease the huge machines by offering their own children to them. However, this merely only helped the Reapers to wipe out their species even faster. And child sacrifice of alien species to pacify Reapers is frightening in itself, but we know better than anybody that when Reapers are involved, we're always in trouble. Jarden. Ryder from Mass Effect Andromeda discovers the Jarden, an ancient race of aliens that built the Remnant technology, as well as the whole Angar species. So far, little is clear about the Remnant builders. The Jarden were able to construct an interconnected cluster-wide planetary network. The true origins and intentions of the Jarden are still unknown, with BioWare dismissing the claim that they were actually Protheans. However, it is something that may be looked into in the future. Inusanan. The Inusanan were a spacefaring race that lived at least 127,000 years before the year of 2182, and little is known about them other than that they fought another race for colonization rights to the garden world Aingana, and they once occupied Ilos. And the Inusanan are only ever seen as those creepy statuesque creatures on Ilos in Mass Effect. Until Javik, a Prothean companion, was introduced as a DLC, many thought these creatures were actually Protheans. Of course, there are many alien races that I could mention, such as the Raloi, the feathered avian race, but so far these were the most notable and creepiest races we kind of know and hear about in the Mass Effect universe thus far. And as always, there will probably be more creepy species to uncover in the next Mass Effect as well. But with that, we are going to wrap up. Which on this list was your personal favorite of Nightmare Fuel? For me, to be honest, it's probably the Leviathan's enthrallment. I just, again, found that to be pretty creepy. Also, what scary things have you encountered throughout Mass Effect that others may not have? Leave that comment down below. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.